Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and this is the first time I'm getting to try some of Darkbolt's designs. This is a first impressions on the Darkbolt Stratus and the Darkbolt ARCUS. Now these are OEM'd by Knives, and what's cool about them is they have so many opening deployments, so many ways to open this knife, and 2 ways to close the knife. Yes, 2 different ways to close the knife. So you have a button attached to a liner, so it's a button lock and a liner lock, and they actually cut it back so you have plenty of access to get to the liner, or you just use the button. So since it has that button, you can do, the button flick if you want to. Now we're going to go into the action here in 1 second, but I do want to talk about the materials really quick. 20 CV G10 steel liners, titanium milled pocket clip. So we have a 20 CV hollow ground sheep's foot blade and a 20 CV hollow ground clip point blade. It's a straight clip point, but if you called it a drop point, that's fine. Good size knife, not too big. It's basically like in between a medium and a large knife, so it's a great size for most people. The action, they have the front flipper deployment, which has great jimping. Perfect jimping on a front flipper. The detent is perfectly well tuned for all deployments. So you have a regular flipper, you have the front flipper that you can use in different ways, and you have the thumb studs that you can reverse flick off of or thumb flick off of. And then you can also push the button and swing it. So lots of ways to fidget with this knife. It's a fidget beast, 100%. Now, both of them are very fidgety. Both of them are very equal. The detent is very consistent. They feel identical. Now, I did hear that you can swap the blades if you wanted to from each model. So that's kind of cool. I don't know why you do that, but you can do that. T8 hardware all the way around. And then we have the titanium milled pocket clip that works really good in and out of the pocket. Ergonomically, it is really, really comfortable. It's a great sized knife. So either one of these is going to be very comfortable. You can squeeze, you can bear down on this without no issues. And it's going to have decent cutting geometry while also being robust. So the stock thickness is pretty robust, but the blade geometry for cutting is going to be pretty good. And you can, relatively easily get to the tip. You do have to lift up quite a bit, but the sheep's foot blade obviously is going to be the utility cutting champion, but both of them are going to be very, very useful blade shapes, blade grinds, and size. Now, as far as negatives go, let's talk about some negatives really quick. So one negative is that the price is $220, and they're available right now, but I find that to be a little bit of a high price. Yes, it's 20 CV, but it's a steel liner lock. And for a steel liner lock, and it's just a run-of-the-mill steel liner lock. It's a liner lock with a button attached, which is cool. I like that. I like, the way they did that. I think that's awesome, but I just don't see the value. Yes, it has a titanium milled pocket clip, but the liners are not titanium. So I don't see where they're getting this price from. With G10, it's what you see on budget knives, steel liners, you see them on budget knives. So the only premium thing here is the clip and the blade. Now, the blade, Knives heat treat, they do a good job with their heat treat, but I wish that, because they heat treat it, or at least these guys are saying that it's 59 to 61. So I prefer to see 20 CV at the least 61. So I like to see it start at 61, 62. Now I did hear somebody said that they did some tests on Knives 20 CV, and I can't confirm this, but they said that all of them tested over 61, which is great to hear. Now, those were all non-coated blades, because Wii's coated blades run a little bit softer than their non-coated blades like you see here. So that's pretty awesome, if that's true. And this is a small thing, but this punches out right here a little far, so I find that you have to really get up to the top of the front flipper. Now it works good, the detent is solid, but I can feel that I'm pushing onto the G10 when I go to front flip it, and I would prefer the G10 to be knocked back just a little bit so that the front flipper is very easy to just grab onto and flick. It works good, but that would be better if the G10 didn't line up perfectly with the G10, and the steel liners didn't line up perfectly with it. Now, Really, there's not much negative. T8 hardware all the way around. They have a nice hidden lanyard post back here. So that's cool how they did that. I do like that it's T8s all the way around. The fit and finish is done really well. You know, the style is a very simple style. What I mean is that, you know, it's kind of a simple looking design, you know, which is going to make it very useful for a lot of people. It's going to be knives that are going to be good for EDC because they're such common blade shapes and such common, you know, ergonomics, handle, and size. But, you know, I did hear that I believe I can swap these blades if I wanted to. So if I wanted this blade in this handle and this blade in this handle, I could definitely do that. Now, I don't see why I would do that because they are very, very similar. I mean, T8 hardware all the way around, beautiful sharpening tool and plunge grind, good access to the liner, very, very smooth on the drop, extremely, extremely fidgety. So all in all, it's a cool knife, really cool knife. My biggest complaint is just that the price is a little bit high. So I'd love to see the price get dropped. Anyways, these things are available right now. This is only a first impressions. I have not tested them yet or anything like that, but you know, getting to check them out for the first time, I'm really interested in Dark Bolt Designs, and I'd love to see what else they wind up doing. As far as I know, this is their first design. I'm not 100% on that, so don't quote me, but I'd love to see what else they have coming in the future. So there you guys go. Love you guys. Peace.